Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our sisters. The message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nash. How are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? So, my brother, I started prostituting myself when I was still 16 years. That was when I started prostituting myself. And by the time that I fell pregnant, I returned back home and I stayed with my parents just a little bit. And at that time, I saw that my parents, they were really struggling, and I then thought of going to Harare. And whilst I was in Harare, that was when I saw that there was just too much competition. So I was dating this other truck driver. So what he used to do is that whenever you will be going to South Africa to collect a load there, he would travel with me until Beitbridge. Then he would drop me off in Beitbridge. So he used to tell me that I have to wait for him in Beitbridge. But me being a prostitute, I will start to prostitute myself. Most of the times, I will then return back to this place that is called Rutenga. That is where I used to target a lot of truck drivers, whilst I'll be waiting for my boyfriend when he will be in South Africa. So by the time that he will tell me that I have gotten the lot, so I am now traveling from South Africa, returning back to Zim, then I will quickly go back to Beitbridge. Then you will find me waiting for him in Beitbridge. So he did not even know that this is what I was doing. This guy, he said that, yes, I have a wife, yes, I have kids, but the way that I love you, I do not want you to become a prostitute anymore. I want you to become my second wife. And I used to pretend as if I was someone who really did not want to be a prostitute anymore. But prostitution, I don't want to lie, it is just in my blood. I just feel that I was born to become a prostitute. So at that time, when my boyfriend was in South Africa, before he had passed away, I then spoke with this other friend of mine. We were then told that there was a lot of customers that were in Rutenga, because it happened that there were a lot of miners that had gone to dig gold illegally, so they had made a lot of money. So these miners, they were staying in Rutenga at that time. So these guys, they were just giving us prostitute whatever that you wanted. If you tell them that short time, I want $50, the guy will just give you, because they had a lot of money. So my friend said, let us go there so that we can quickly make some money. I then went to Rutenga. When I went to Rutenga, that was when I started sleeping with this other guy who told me that he had also made some money. But what we did not know at that time, oh my brother, was that these guys, they were operating in an area that is called Mazowe. That is where they were digging up for the gold. So in Mazowe, there was this other traditional healer. She was a woman, the one who was said to have one breast that was in the middle of her chest. So she was the one who was making these gold miners to find gold so easily by them sacrificing their relatives, some sacrificing their own wives and their children. So this group of illegal gold miners, when they went to that traditional healer, they were given a deal. They were told to go around sleeping with as many women as they could, and the more that they will be sleeping with as many women as they were able to, then those women, they will die and they will become the sacrifice to that healer's shrine. So when we went there, we did not even know that we were being used for money making rituals. The money that these men were giving to us, it was not even real money. So I then slept with that man. The first night that I slept with him, I had a dream, and in my dream I saw this man who was like a tall man, a giant of a man. He came to me and he said that he was my ancestor. He said that our bloodline, it started with him. He had came to my rescue. He told me that the men that I was sleeping with, he was using me for rituals. So me also being a Christian, even though I was prostituting myself, but I was believing that God is there and God is for real. When I woke up, I then started to pray and chasing away the spirit of that man who had said that was my ancestor. I prayed. Then this guy, the next day when I slept with him, I felt a sharp pain, my brother. I did not even know that like as a woman, your uterus can just fall off. After this man had slept with me, I felt so much pain. He then left and he said that he wanted to go and join up with the rest of his gang so that they can play snooker as they will be drinking some alcohol. That was when I felt that there was something that was coming out of my private parts. The pain was just too much. I screamed out to some of my friends who came, who thought that I was getting robbed. That was when they found me. I was naked. I was feeling a lot of pain, and I had removed all of my clothes, and there was blood that was coming out of my private parts. They asked me what was wrong, and I said there is something that wants to come out. They quickly rushed to this other woman, but she was a white garment prophet, who then said that my uterus was coming out, and if my who said that my uterus was coming out. So they then took a blanket and they covered me with a blanket. And after they had covered me with a blanket, I felt something popping out of my private parts. It was really painful. Then they looked and they said that it was my uterus. So this man, he had tried sacrificing me by using my uterus. My brother, the pain that I felt, that woman kept on praying for me, and sprinkling the holy water on me. That was when I collapsed. By the time that I woke up, I was then told that my uterus had returned back into my private parts, but still there was so much pain. After this had happened, all those guys that we were sleeping with, they just disappeared. I was then told by that prophet that I was supposed to go to Mazowe. She said that when you go to Mazowe, you are going to meet a woman who is going to assist you. Then I then went to Mazowe. At that time, my boyfriend told me that he was still waiting for the Lord. He was in Jamestown, where he was waiting for the millimil that he was supposed to take to Zambia. So I went to Mazowe. When I was in Mazowe, that was when I met this other woman who said that she had been sent by that same traditional healer. We then went to that traditional healer's shrine. So she was working close to the place where those guys were illegally digging up for gold. So she had prepared this shrine there in the forest. We went to that place where she had a shrine, and she said that she wanted to speak with me. When she spoke with me, it was a private consultation. The girls that she was working with, they were told to go and do something else. Then we started to have a consultation. That woman then told me that I was about to die, but the way that she said that I was about to, so that woman then told me that I was about to die, but she was afraid that if I was going to die, the man that I had dreamt about, my ancestor, was going to come after her. So she said that she did not want to fight with the spirit of my ancestor, because she was not sure who was going to win between her ancestors and my ancestors. She then said, "Young woman, if you and I, if we can reason together, we can come out with a solution." I said, "What kind of a solution?" She said that on that night when your uterus came out of your private parts, that was when you were supposed to die. That was when she told me that I had slept with one of her clients who was still in the process of getting this ritual money. So these guys that we had been sleeping with, each and every time that we were sleeping with them, they were stealing our wombs. It just happened that my ancestors, they were too strong, so they came to my rescue. I was then told that the rest of the girls that had slept with the other guys who were her clients, they were all going to die. She said, "Let us reason together." And she said that you have to sacrifice someone. You have to sacrifice someone that is in your heart. And at that time, I thought that my mother was the one who was in my heart. She said, well, we are going to see who is in your heart. She then gave me this other mirror. She said, "Look into the mirror." When I looked into the mirror the first time, I saw myself, and she said, "Oh, just look into the mirror again and say, 'Mirror, I am looking at you.'" And I then said that, "Mirror, I am looking at you." That was when that man who was the truck driver who was in South Africa appeared in the mirror. I saw him, my brother. He was busy cooking his soft porridge on this other gas stove that he had in his truck. And that traditional healer said, "Who do you see?" I then showed her everything that I was seeing in the mirror, and she said, aha, that is the man who is in your heart. You love him with all of your heart. That is going to be your sacrifice. My brother, I then started crying, and I cried and I said, is there nothing else that we can do? Please, this man, he is innocent. He has been treating me really good. He has a wife and kids, because at that time his wife had a little child that was somewhere around 3 months old. She then said that I do not have any choice, because if you refuse to sacrifice this man, then your ancestors are going to come and destroy my shrine. I do not want to fight with your ancestor. So whilst I was crying, this woman then stood up from where she was sitting. She then took this other hunting knife, and she then came and she placed that hunting knife in my hand, and she then made me to stab that truck driver. I stabbed that truck driver. This was 3 times. I kept on stabbing him until he just collapsed. So this man, they just found him dead in his truck. They said that it was a heart attack. His friends then called me and said that, he is normal. He had a heart attack when he was busy cooking in his truck. But what they don't know is that I was the one who sacrificed him. So this is my own confession, my brother. Everything that happened on that day, it still gives me a lot of sleepless nights. But that woman told me not to worry, because I was fighting for my own survival. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by our dear sister. Strange things do happen in this world. She said that after the ritual was done, the woman then said, come and breastfeed on my breast. And she went there and she started to breastfeed. And she said that to her surprise, there was milk that was as sweet as chocolate that came out of that witch doctor's breast. Just imagine a woman with a single breast in the middle of her chest. Yo,